and welcome, class of 2024, to your last course planning session with me, your counselor, Miss Higginbottom. Let's begin. This will be the song you'll be hearing at graduation. All right, course planning this year. We're trying to get things done by the end of February. A couple key dates to note. February 1st on Teams at 5:30. I'll be available doing a Q&A and a condensed version of this presentation. I'd like you to watch that, and also please watch that with your caregivers, because I think they'll be quite interested in some of the stuff that we're talking about. And then on February 7th during Fit Time, this is going to be the big course planning assembly. This is where I'm going to give you your grad folders and a real clear rundown of the grad program, what's required, and what courses we're going to offer next year. And then you're going to have a 2-week period to make your course selections, and in that time I'll be coming to check in on you in second period classes. I've booked in with all of the grade 11 teachers in second period from Feb 7th to the 23rd actually. And then I'm also going to be in the library through Fit Times. So come and see me during Fit Time in the library, and I can answer any questions that you might have about course planning there. And then if you've seen my presentation, you have more questions, please, that's when you'll come see me, is at Fit Time in the library. And then if there's anybody who really needs to have a meeting or wants to sit down and have an advising session, just email me and we can set something up. Okay? And then everything will be due on February the 24th. Okay, so just to recap that you need 80 credits to graduate. Most of you, if you have passed all of your classes and you're in grade 11 and you've been taking all of the graduation required courses, you're probably sitting at 66 credits right now, so you are on track. You need 28 credits from electives, and then really importantly, you need to have 16 credits, which is 4 courses at the grade 12 level. So just a review of the courses that you should be working on this year or should have completed if you are tracking for a diploma, Dogwood Diploma in June of 2024. So English 10, Literary Studies 11 or New Media 11, and then next year you'll do BC First or English First Peoples 12 or English 12, English Studies 12. There's a typo there. It should say English First Peoples 12. Grade 10 and 12, you need to write the language assessment. We'll schedule you for the grade 12 one next year. Social Studies 10 should be complete, and a Socials 11 or Socials 12. It can be Socials 11 or any of the Socials 12 electives that we offer. Please take that. If you haven't done that already, you'll need to do that for next year as well. Okay, so just reviewing the math and science courses that you should already be working on this year in your grade 11 year to be tracking for graduation. You need to have completed a Math 10, any of the Math 10s we offered, Numeracy Assessment 10, a Math 11, any of the Math 11s, a Science 10, and at least one of the Science 11 courses. Now remember, I'm just going over the basic graduation requirements. Other courses, when you get to grade 12, you need to have a minimum of 3 other grade 12 courses beyond the required English Studies course. You have to have completed a PE 10, and this one I really need to just remind people, this comes up every year that I have a graduating class since they started offering CLE online, is that CLE 10 needs to be complete. Now, I get students who think they completed it, they feel like they completed it, and then it turns out they only did 85% of the course. If you are taking this course online, I warned you, this is your responsibility to follow up on it and to check in and make sure that you complete the course within the time frame they give you, which is usually a year. You must have this course complete. It doesn't matter if you're getting straight A's in all your courses. If this course isn't done and you're in grade 12 and you've applied to university, you will find all your admission offers revoked, okay? I'm not trying to be mean, I'm just being real. So please finish that course and follow up on that one. Career Life Connections 11 and 12, this is an off timetable course that we scheduled you into automatically. So everybody here should be working on their CLC 11 courses, and then next year you'll have CLC 12. And then nobody usually has any issue doing this, but you have to have had one fine arts or applied skills elective between grade 10 and 12. And then we talked about that at our assembly. You need to meet your Indigenous graduation requirement either by taking First Peoples English 12 or taking BC First Peoples 12 in social studies. All right, so exciting for this year, for the class of 2024. I am starting a new thing, which is your graduation folder. It's blue, and you will get this at your February 7th assembly. Now, in your graduation folder, this is something I want you to hold on to throughout this year and next year, and it has these handy pockets inside that you're going to put forms such as course planning materials, scholarship information, brochures that you get into counseling suite, reference letter, application forms. Put it all in one spot. And when you're coming for a meeting with me or an advising appointment, not like a counseling session, but an advising appointment, I want you to bring this form with you. Okay, so when you look into this form, you're going to see that I have included a document in here which we're going to try this year, called a graduation tracker form. So I want you to go through this, and I want you and your caregivers, your parents, to sit down and just check that you are on track to graduate, because I don't want there to be any surprises between you and your family about your graduation status. And then I want you to please hand this in to me with your course planning so that I can do a quick scan and a quick review, and you'll hand this in to me as well as your course planning sheet. And that is your grad folder. Please put your name on it. Your course selection sheet will be, I am actually going back to some old school methods this year. We're going to use paper again, because I found that having students do it on forms was just, I would much prefer, I want your parents to sign it. I want you to give me adequate number of alternate choices, and mostly I need a parent caregiver signature on that form. And I just found it easier back in the last few grad classes when I had a binder where I could keep everything in one spot. So again, you'll hand in your course sheet on February 26th as the deadline. Okay, so let's talk about the courses we're offering and how you might make some choices. So first of all, there's only, if you are on track with all other of the courses I listed from grade 10 to 11, there's really only 2 required courses you have to finish. One is the CLC 12 this year, and you have to finish an English Studies 12. So you are going to choose between taking First Peoples English 12, which satisfies your Indigenous graduation requirement and your English 12 requirement, or you're going to take English Studies 12. If you do that, you need to take an additional course to satisfy your Indigenous requirement, which would be BC First Peoples 12, the Social Studies course. And of course, if you're keen and you want to really learn more and take a dive into reconciliation and learn more about BC First Peoples, then take both courses. That's great. And mini students, you're going to be taking mini English First Peoples. Okay, so electives, that's the term we use for courses that you don't have to take, or that we want you to take. And of course, you do have to take a certain amount of electives to get credits. And, you know, for students at Telper, we expect you to take a minimum of 5 other courses, plus you can have a study block. That's a typo there. So you can have 7 courses plus a study block. No, that is 6. Why am I second guessing myself? Okay, I was right the first time. Don't listen to me. You need 3 grade 12. 3 of those other courses need to be at the grade 12 level, as I said. CLC is delivered off timetable. Okay, but the minimum course requirement ties into scholarships a little later, and I'll talk about that in future slides. Select the courses that are interesting to you based on what your post-secondary plans are. Now remember, we provide you with the information on the courses you need to graduate, but taking the right courses that you might want for post-secondary studies and researching what courses are required for admission, that's really on you and on caregivers. So I'll give you some general information about that, but I do really encourage and expect that students are going to do some research as well on that. So talking about some of the elective courses that we offer, academic electives, we have in the English department Creative Writing 12, and we have Literary Studies 12. Both of those courses will not replace English 12, but they're for people who really love to read, might want to express themselves in written form, either poetry or exploring fiction or nonfiction writing. And the person that I would encourage you to talk to about those courses is Miss Braun. She's the head of our English department if you want to learn more about those courses. And I will say with all of these courses, I'm going to show you later in a later slide, that the course planning guide, which is on our Tupper website, has way more information. I'm just giving you quick little snippets, but I do want you to do further work, and it's really easy documents, a PDF. You just Control F, look up the course, and it's going to tell you about any supplemental fees, field trips, what you can expect in that course. Okay? Okay, so if you are in ELL, meaning you're an English language learner, your teacher, usually your writing teacher, recommends your placement for the following year. I will say that you can take summer school to really enhance and upgrade your ELL learning, so I encourage you to do that. If you are in beginner level or even up to senior level by the time we're in grade 12, chances are you're probably going to have to finish your diploma at the adult education, because as you can see, English 10, 11, and 12, and Socials 10 and an 11 or 12 are required, and so it's really hard to make up for that in the short time that you might have left at Tupper. So even if you're in transitional level, it can be a little bit iffy. So if you're not sure, you're going to come and see me or maybe talk to Miss Barron. We'll bring in the advisors from adult education in the spring to talk to students about what the best pathway might be for them. Okay, moving on to electives within our mathematics department. This is a really important one to talk about, which is the Pre-Calculus 12. Pre-Calculus 12, you really should not be taking this course unless you are in Pre-Calculus 11 with a minimum of 73%. The Pre-Calculus 12 course is intended for students who are going to study advanced mathematics at a post-secondary level, either going into engineering, applied sciences, computer programming, or STEM. And it's a very rigorous course. You can expect 4 hours of homework a week for this course. Same with Foundations of Math 12. The homework load is quite heavy, although it's not as advanced a mathematics course as Pre-Calc, obviously. So Foundations of Math 12 prerequisite is Pre-Calc 11 or FOM 11, and FOM 11 and FOM 12 together equate Pre-Calculus 11, basically. You can talk to Ms. Wong, who's the head of the math department, or your current math teacher about recommendations, but they're going to be pretty much what I've written here. Calculus 12, this course is, again, really for people who want to study STEM, study at an advanced level in mathematics, either by looking at programming, engineering, STEM kind of activities, okay? And calculus, you need to have an 80% prerequisite in Pre-Calc 11 or Pre-Calc 12. And then we have Computer Science 12. Again, that's for somebody who, might want to go into the applied sciences, or maybe you've taken programming and you want to further it. So for calculus and computer sciences, you could talk to Mr. Williams about those courses. And these courses, generally Pre-Calculus 12 and Calculus 12 are, considered required academics for many of the sciences and STEM programs post-secondary. FOM 12 is fine if you're going into arts. It's not usually sufficient for anybody wanting to go into STEM. Again, you're going to need to look at each school and look at their admission requirements, and I'll talk you through a lot of that in September and in Futures Fit Assembly in June. It's really easy just looking under prospective students, admissions, admission requirements, and then it goes into the province you live in, and they'll break it down for you. All schools have that on their websites. All legit schools. Anyways, okay, so sciences electives, you can go ahead and take another Science 11. Maybe you realized, hey, I took chemistry, but I didn't take physics, and I want to keep the door open for STEM. You can go ahead and take a grade 11 science that you didn't take already. Next year we'll be offering Environmental Science 12. That course has no Science 11 prerequisite, and it does satisfy grad requirements, and that's if you have maybe an interest or passion around climate change, environmental issues, and that will probably be a Mr. Hultquist's course, so you can talk to him. Physics 12, the prerequisite is Physics 11. Chemistry 12. You're blocked by my picture, but I'll just say it. Chemistry 12 is a pretty advanced course, not for the faint of heart. If this were a menu, it would have 3 chili peppers beside it. You shouldn't take Chemistry 12 unless you got a B or higher in Chemistry 11 and Pre-Calculus 11. And it's not really required for that many programs, although for engineering it is a requirement. And if you are seriously going into engineering from high school or you want to be competitive, that prerequisite should be not a problem. And then life sciences or biology 12, that course actually there's the prerequisite of biology 11 isn't really recommended. It's more students who have chemistry 11 tend to fare better in the life sciences 12 course. So you got questions about chemistry, life sciences, Ms. Chan and Mr. J are your teachers to consult with. For anything physics, go talk to Mr. Florio, and then also please consult the course planning guide. Okay, for social studies courses, Mr. Lum is our department head for socials. Feel free to talk to him. We are excited to be offering BC First Peoples 12, which is satisfies your Indigenous graduation requirement if you take English Studies 12, but you can also take that to enhance your learning of Indigenous culture. And this is going to be sort of taught as a survey course, looking at land, looking at historical, looking at language, looking at current events and political issues, and through a lens of reconciliation as well. World History 12, that's 20th century world history, and Mr. McLean typically teaches that course, and I think that it starts around World War I and up. And then Physical Geography 12, Miss Binder typically will teach that course, and looking at things like mapping, the world geography. It's an interesting course, survey course. Maybe talk to Miss Binder if you'd like to learn more. Economic Theory, Mr. McLean taught that course this year, looking at currency, economic systems, macro economics. Might be an interesting course if you wanted to maybe go into business or solder or finance or something like that. Social Justice 12, Miss Atwell will be teaching this course this year, and so you can talk to her. This is a course that brings in some guest speakers, projects, looking at a lot of current events and issues related to oppression, anti-oppression efforts, decolonization. Please read the course planning guide. All of these social courses, read this course planning guide for details, or see the teachers whose names I dropped in that little blip there. Thank you. Physical and health education has 2 courses that are open to any student to sign up for. So you've got your active living or PE 12. And then we have Senior Girls Active Living 12, and that course is going to have a particular emphasis on women's health and wellness issues. And then PE Leadership 12, that one needs permission by the instructor. Usually I say to students, go talk to Ms. Wong about that course, because I believe there might be some refereeing and extra stuff that you might be doing, and you should be playing on some Tupper teams in order to do that course. Modern languages. Okay, in our modern languages department, we have 3 courses we offer. The prerequisite are all the previous year's course. If you never took courses in modern languages, I'm not really sure what a good jumping off point would be, but you could probably try Spanish 10 or Japanese 10 if you'd never had any French before. French 12 prerequisites, French 11, Spanish 12 prereq, Spanish 11. And talk to Prof. Benstead about Spanish. For Japanese, see Mr. Demers in the library. And for French, there's 3 lovely French teachers you can talk to at Tupper about French 12, but Madame Dong, Mr. Lee, and Madame Hendren. We have a new course we're offering at Tupper for the first time. First time it's being offered in the whole Vancouver School Board. This isn't really a language learning course. This is more of a cultural experience course, and it's called Filipino 11. There's no prerequisite, but just be aware that there's no, this is not considered a language for university admissions. Ms. Ramirez is hoping to teach this course, so please talk to Ms. Ramirez if you'd like more information about this course. Okay, so just talking about some of the elective options that are available in business. We have Accounting 11, Accounting 12. You can take Accounting 12 if you've done Accounting 11. If you haven't done any accounting but want to try, do Accounting 11, please. Entrepreneurship 12 is the senior course, working in the Top Shop, etc. Marketing and promotion is the junior level of the course. So if you did marketing this year and you want to continue, then do Entrepreneurship 12. Business application keyboarding 12 is for students who are quite unfamiliar with using a computer, quite unfamiliar with using computer software, some of the programs like MS Teams, Word, Excel, and so basically giving you some general and beginner level keyboarding and office skills. And so that's Business Application Keyboarding 12. For any of these courses, please talk to Mr. McAlpine or Ms. Lau, and they can give you more information, as well as the course planning book. Okay, within home economics, we have our foods 12, we have textiles 12, and we have fashion design 12. That one, you should have taken textiles and maybe talked to Ms. K or one of the teachers there about whether that's a suitable course for you to take. And then cafeteria 12 is with Chef Regan in the CAF, and we call that cafeteria or culinary arts 12, working alongside the folks in the CAF and getting some good work experience as well as practical and professional cooking experience. And then we have Psychology 12, which is taught by Miss Ma, and that's a survey of the different schools of thought within psychology, behavior, group behavior, dynamics, etc. Full explanation in the course planning guide. Moving on to computers, we'll be offering Programming 11, 12, and Media Design 11. Take Programming 12 if you've taken Programming 11. Otherwise, if you've never done any, then please do Programming 11. Mr. Williams or Mr. Matt can talk to you more about those courses. Media Design 11 is going to look at some of the software programs that allow you to do creative projects like game design, visual effects, video editing on the computer. So looking at technology that is used commonly in like maybe the film industry or game industry. And that is, you could talk to Mr. Coder if you want to know more about that course. Within Tech Ed, we have our Woodworking 11 and 12. Obviously, you're using equipment, tools, saws, that kind of thing in the wood shop. Drafting and Design 11 and 12 is a good course to take if you ever wanted to go into architecture or industrial design using a program called AutoCAD to draw and design things for building. Youth Explore Trades is a trade sampler course that looks at a few different areas from building to designing to maybe exploring things like within metal as well as wood. And if you want to know more about any of those courses, please see Mr. Gore or Mr. Hamilton down in the Tech Ed wing. Visual arts. So the first few courses are Miss Cool courses, so you can talk to her. If you've never taken art before, you can try Intro Art Studio 11 or 12. If you have taken art and you want to continue on with two-dimensional drawing and painting, then you have Drawing and Painting 11 or 12. Please take 12 if you are in grade 12 and you're taking art again. Same with ceramics and sculpture, and that's working in our pottery studio using clay and other forms to do three-dimensional art. So again, see Miss Cool for information about those courses. Annual production is working on the school yearbook, attending events, documenting, taking photos, getting out there, and working as part of a team, deadline kind of focused work. Graphic arts is using programs like Photoshop to create art on the computer and also looking at the principles of design. Film and TV is not a practical course per se, it's more of an analysis course, so looking at TV, looking at film in a more analytical way, discussing it, looking at themes, visual themes within the work. And photography is a mix of darkroom photography as well as digital photography. And Miss Fell teaches all of the annual graphics, film, and photo, so please talk to her about if you have any questions about the course, as well as look at the course planning guide. Drama. With drama, Miss Heidi is your person to talk to about all things drama. Go visit her in the B Wing in the Dramatorium, and I'm sure she'd be happy to talk more. We have our Tupper Theatre Company that is going to be working as part of an ensemble, helping to practice and put on shows at the school and in our school community. Then we have our technical theater, which is a behind the scenes. You're doing sets, you're doing sound, you're doing lighting. And so, you know, if you've always kind of liked the theater, but you don't like being on the stage, this is the course for you. Drama leadership. This is something where you've worked in, Miss Heidi knows you already, and maybe you want to go work with the grade 8s and 9s and help with that, and maybe you want to help with some of the senior courses as well, and that's by teacher permission. And directing and script writing, as it says, you're helping to direct, you're helping to write and collaborate on performances in the school. So read the course planning guide or see Miss Heidi. Dance, Miss Reed is your person to talk to about all things dance. The entry-level course here is dance technique and performance. No experience required. Lots of various genres of dance are learned in this course. And some performance as well. Dance company 11 or 12 is more advanced. You have some experience dancing either outside of Tupper or you've been in the dance program before. And if you're not sure, you'll talk to Miss Reed. And then dance leadership by permission. That will give you an opportunity to do some choreography, some leadership, and maybe work with the younger grades. Within music, we have a few offerings. No experience required to join beginner band and try a new instrument. It's not too late. You still have time to do that. Intermediate band is for students who, it's an on-timetable band course. You have done some beginner band. Off-timetable, we have advanced concert band and jazz band. Those are courses where you're working off the timetable. So off timetable means it's not during the regular school day. It's either going to be in the morning or in the afternoon. Mr. Can is the person to talk to about the music courses. Concert choir as well is offered off timetable. And then we have guitar 11 or 12, no prior experience in playing guitar necessary. If you are playing advanced guitar, you already have some guitar knowledge, you can excel in that course because it's sort of grouped by level. And Miss Barron or Mr. Can talk to you more about those courses. Student services, learning strategies or skills is a course where you work and you get some academic support with a teacher. This course, usually you have an IEP or you've been working with Miss Rentz or you were recommended into the course by myself. So if you had it in grade 11, not all grade 12s need to have this course. If we put in a study block, you might not need that extra time. But if you are taking some courses where you think you're going to need to build in some support, then you might want to consider taking that course. Either way, talk to me and we'll talk it out. Link Crew is a course that is an off-timetable course that requires a supplemental application and an interview process. So it's a competitive course. Not everybody who applies to Link Crew will get in. If you would like to be considered and you'd like to apply for Link Crew and it's your first time, sign up for Link Crew 11 and then stay tuned for the information sessions and the interview process. Link Crew is for returning Link Crew leaders. If you'd like to return to Link Crew, please put Link Crew 12 down on your course selection sheet. Okay, so we've learned a little bit about the career programs. Mark Reed from the VSB career programs came and did an assembly with your grade and talked about all the opportunities, and there was quite a lot of interest in what he presented. But if you'd like to learn more about what we offer, you can come and see myself. You can also reach back out to Mark Reed, and there's his information there. He welcomes students to contact him. If you want to apply to Tupper Tech or you think you're going to apply to Tupper Tech, I'd love to know about that so I can help support you with your application. Plus, I have to fill out the counselor form and the transition plan. So get in touch with me if you're applying to Tupper Tech as well as into the chef program with Chef Regan. March 1st is typically when the deadline for the programs are, so please make sure you apply before the deadline. Okay, So the Youth Train and Trades programs, again, amazing opportunities offered throughout the Vancouver School Board, where you get post-secondary level training, often leading to an apprenticeship or leading to a transfer to VCC or BCIT, or leading to paid work. And Mr. Reed talked a lot about those opportunities, and you heard Chef Regan talk about Tupper Culinary Arts. We have auto, mechanical, and body work that's over at VCC. Plumbing, baking at VCC, Cisco Networking Academy, which is over at Killarney. There's a hairdressing program, there's healthcare, there's Tupper Tech. That list is actually not very comprehensive. There's way more than that. We have aircraft. There's a ton. So remember, go to careers.vsb.bc.ca to find out more. And if you want to meet with Mr. Reed and have time with him to look at your options and the opportunities, please get in touch with me and I'll refer you over to him. CLC, just again, this is a bit repetitive, but you need to do CLC off timetable this year, CLC 12 next year, and next year there will be the final, it's 2 credits each year, 11 and 12, and then you finish up with a capstone project. Okay, so choosing your path. Well, you know, it's a stressful time, I know, for a lot of students, because they feel like they have to have everything figured out, and you know, sometimes, you know, you can go, well, I don't know, should I do this or do that? This is when it's really good to have conversations with your caregivers, with your teachers, with me, with people who might be able to help advise you on things. And just remember that you can change your path and you can change things around, and there's different pathways. You know, everybody has a different way of where they got to in their career. You do not have to have your entire life figured out when you're 16 years old, contrary to popular opinion. So, but you know, it's how you can start navigating that journey to independence, to adulthood, to post-secondary or beyond. A life after high school is to look at what's out there. Where can I go? How can, you know, ask questions, be curious about what's out there. So there's various paths that people will take when they leave Tupper. Some students will take a break and they'll go work, and they'll take, you know, like a bit of a gap there, and then they'll really try to figure things out, and in some cases that's a good thing to do, so you can really, before you spend money, to know what you want to do. Some people will go do some volunteer work, or they'll go travel, and other students will go on and into school. Sometimes they'll do that full-time and sometimes they'll do that part-time. Okay, so one pathway that a lot of students talk about is going to college or university. So what we say is, you know, the post-secondary research and figuring out where to go and what you need to take to get there, and applying is actually on students to do that independently. And of course, we give you a little bit of generalized support with that. And we bring in opportunities, and we bring admissions people into the school, and we post opportunities. Generally, I will post these on Teams and in the announcements. So do some research on the degree and certificate programs that are of interest to you. Consider open enrollment university transfer programs. Look at the entrance requirements. And all this information is extremely easy to find thanks to Google. If you want to find out what it takes to get into sciences at UBC, Google UBC Sciences admission requirements. Keywords are undergraduate, that's for your degree after high school. Prospective means you're a student who is thinking about going into a school, you're a prospective student. And admission requirements is what you always want to look in. That's where they'll break down the courses. Admission requirements for high school students. Okay, so just generally speaking, and this slide comes with a real warning in that, you know, university requirements do change, and so again, you really do need to go and double check and research things, and make sure that you're in the right courses. So, but generally speaking, for direct university, right from high school to a university campus, you're going to need an English 12, either First Peoples or English 12. You're going to need, this is the minimum requirement, by the way, just to get your foot in the door, is a pre-calculus 11, or a Foundations 11 or 12. And this is really depending on the school and the faculty. And you'll need to have a Language 11, and this again depends on the school. Now, if you have an IEP, you could apply for what's called a language exemption. Let's say you had a learning strategies block instead of a language throughout your high school, and you have an IEP, then you can apply for that. But you won't be able to apply for that unless you have an IEP. Okay, and then minimum, you need to have one what they consider to be an academic science, so that's going to be life sciences, chem, or physics. And some universities, UBC in particular, will look at your literacy 12 exam assessment results, and they will want you to have a minimum of a 3 on that exam. Science for Citizens, workplace math, they do not qualify for direct university entry. But that doesn't mean that you wouldn't be able to get a university degree. And that's what I really need to say is you can still graduate and you can apply to one of the more open enrollment university transfer programs at Douglas or Langara or one of the other schools or any college, and then you can transfer seamlessly into a third-year program. But keep in mind that anything STEM related is going to need certain sciences and math courses. So why am I talking about college? Well, I do strongly recommend that students consider college. And we have Langara College in our backyard, which is very close to Tupper, and you can go up and take a walk around their campus and see if you like the energy up there. Apply early. They usually offer, it's on a first come, first served basis, October 1st, and you can apply to take science courses without the same kind of science course requirements as at UBC or SFU, UVic, etc. You usually just need to have your basic high school graduation. Typically the classes are smaller. You could have up to 40 students a class versus hundreds in a class at a university. Tuition is less expensive, and then you can transfer, like I said, to university and complete your degree there. A lot of studies show that students who went to college first for 2 years fared better when they got into third and fourth year studies at university. And when you get your degree, see if I can show you my degrees up there. There they are. Your degree doesn't say, University of British Columbia, went to Langara 2 years. Your degree says University of British Columbia. Okay. What if you don't know what you want to do? That's okay. Try not to stress too much. A lot of people don't have it all figured out, and even the people who think they have it figured out, be flexible. Change it happens all the time. If you're really lost and you just don't know, maybe think about what you don't want to do as a starting point. But just take advantage and keep aware of what's going on in the school, because there is a lot of really cool opportunities there at Tupper and in our community, and these will mostly be posted on Teams, so please check Teams once a week. The Canadian University's Q event, a lot of you went to that with your caregivers, and that's awesome. Go to that again next year, because most of the Canadian schools are represented there. And of course, when a university reps offer to come, we book them in to come to Tupper, and we also will be holding our post-secondary information days again. All of our information is on the website, so like I said, please check the course planning book. That is a PDF document, super easy to search on our website. Go to guidance and support, click down to course planning, and this presentation and handouts and everything will be there right here. See that little search bar at the top there, on the top right of the screen? Just if you want to know more about, theater company, type that in there and you'll find it there. Okay, so exploring your grad folder. Again, your grad folder being this wonderful blue basic old school paper folder that I'm going back to for course planning this year. You will have inside there a graduation tracker sheet. You're going to have a grade 12 course selection sheet, and you also have an information sheet. This is just a quick little blurb about some frequently asked questions, scholarships, etc., and where you can get more information. I'll be coming back for round 2 of advising and form collection during period 2, February 7th to the 23rd. Your teachers will let you know. I'll also post on Teams and I'll put it on the PA. I'll be in the library for fit time for course advising, as well as Lab 319, which I've booked. And it's handy because the computer's right there and I can go online and show you things. I will accommodate my requests for meetings. Keep in mind there are almost 300 of you folks though, and it's not possible to meet with 300 families individually. But if there really is, you really need more information, or if I can be more supportive, reach out and we'll see what we can do. I need your course requests by February 24th. Yes, you can change them. You can let me know if you change your mind. That is totally fine. Best to let me know if you change your mind before we break for summer vacation. And then there will be an area to collect them outside of my office. It'll be very obvious, and it'll say course selections for grade 11s. All of your forms need to be signed by your legal caregiver. I want to have your parents sign off on those, please. I've been through this before, but I'll just say it again. Schedule making, it's like building a very complicated Sudoku puzzle. There's a lot of factors that go into making a student schedule, namely teachers' schedules, what they're available to teach, teaching staff availability, budget, the money that we get from the school board to put our courses together. But the number one thing that drives the schedule is student requests, and that's why it's important that I get the courses in a timely and accurate way. For example, if only 10 students sign up for a course, that course is not going to run. We need to have a minimum of 20 students usually for a course to run at Tupper, okay? I'm in grade 12. Some frequently asked questions here. Grade 12s, you know, we do build the timetable actually around grade 12 requests first. We do our best. You can let me know before September about any changes. That's okay. And then once the schedule goes live in September and you want to make changes, you know, we've been through this a few years now, everybody, and we know that we try our best, and sometimes it's possible and sometimes it's not. It really depends if a class is full and you know, if it's a single class backed against another class. So, you know, it's better to make these changes before if we can, and if not, we look at doing schedule changes in September. You won't be able to bump a grade 11 or 10 out of a class in September, just so you know, okay? So if you don't get the schedule you like, you don't come in, you don't want to wait, you know, you're going to have to be patient and wait in the counseling office. I know some students come in and then they walk off like, you know, frustrated that, you know, they have to wait. It gets busy. Please be patient. Bring a book, bring something to do, listen, bring your earbuds, and you might have some wait time in September in the counseling suite because there's only one of me and there's a lot of you, and sometimes there's a wait, okay? Scholarships. This is sort of a recap of a presentation Mr. Lee and I did on post-secondary day, but this is information more for parents and for folks who might have missed that presentation. So really, just by its very definition, a scholarship is money that you win towards your post-secondary education. How do you get scholarships? Well, like lots of ways. By applying. Sometimes you get them automatically. Sometimes you get them by applying to a school automatically based on your admission marks at the time of application. Sometimes you get recruited and offered a scholarship so somebody can entice you to go to their school. Mostly students with high marks will get scholarships. Yeah, one of the main criteria though is pretty high marks. And ROARs. ROARs is very important. So there's a few types of scholarships, and I'm just going to break it down for you folks. So we have our big nomination scholarships. So these are ones that you've heard of, like the Loran Scholarship, the Book Award, University of Toronto, the Schulich nomination. So these are ones where the organization has said, hey, school, we are giving you we want you to nominate a student. And in those cases, our scholarship committee, which is our teachers, our teaching faculty, and the administration get together and nominate somebody. Now, just a ROARs alert, okay, because I know sometimes people get a little bit sore about not getting nominated, and parents might get upset about that. You know, the people who work on these scholarship committees, the teachers, are putting a lot of time into thoughtful and evidence-based discussion. So we're looking at grade calculations, we're looking at you know, ROARs, and they're volunteering their time to do that. And these scholarships, they have given us the authority to make our nomination. So it's it's confidential. So you might think that somebody should have got a scholarship, but you might not know that the other person might have, other factors like financial need or something like that. So please keep it Rosie. Thank you. External scholarships. These are not nominated by the school committee. Anybody can apply. Various organizations, often financial ones, will donate to scholarships like TD Bank, Van City, Coast Capital, etc. You still might need references and transcripts, which is an official record of your grades, to apply for these. Scholarshipscanada.com is a good place to look for scholarships. Teams, if a scholarship is being promoted to the school, and usually they'll email me, I will promote it out on Teams, and either Ms. Ma or somebody will put it in the bulletin. Be really careful of anybody who says like any sort of service where you have to pay to learn about scholarships. That's dodgy. Just be aware of that. Entrance scholarships. These are scholarships that are offered to exceptional students who exceed the admission requirements. So schools are really trying to encourage you to stay there and go there. Sometimes you have to apply. Sometimes they're given automatically based on your marks going in. And sometimes these are athletic scholarships, and various people who are playing at a high level in sports. You might have had coaches visiting or watching and approaching you about playing on certain teams. Scouting, basically. And then we have financial needs awards. These are sometimes called bursaries. There's big ones called the BD Luminaries, the UGLA family, which is an SFU full ride scholarship. Full ride means everything is paid for. Schmolik and the UBC Centennial Award. These are based on financial need, and usually it's not the school here that sets any of that criteria. That's set by the donor of the scholarship in the institution. But sometimes they'll ask for things like income tax statements, proof of assets, bank statements, etc. to prove the financial need. And sometimes they're looking for students who've overcome adversity, family hardship, etc. And then lastly, we come to our Tupper school-based scholarships, which these are scholarships that are awarded at our grad ceremony, and they range from $50 to $2,500. There's about 40 scholarships, and the scholarship committee again tries to get as many scholarships to as many students as possible. And different donors have different criteria for the scholarships, and the scholarship committee works on finding candidates who meet the criteria. Some of the criteria can be sports, elementary schools you went to, extracurricular activities, financial need. And again, the scholarship committee deliberates and spends actually like once a week in grade 12, like every lunch hour, sort of looking for good candidates for these and using evidence and GPA and all of these kind of things to factor into the decisions, okay? And these are confidential deliberations as well. Okay, and so oftentimes when you're applying for a scholarship, you're going to need something called a reference letter. A reference letter is a letter that you get from a teacher, counselor, administrator, or coach, or somebody in the community that says all kinds of wonderful things about you and why you should get a scholarship or an opportunity. If you're asking me for a reference, I'm in most cases super happy to write a reference for students, but I do require a couple things. If I've never written you a reference before, and that's going to apply to like most of you at this stage, I'd like you to fill out a reference letter form and tell me more about what kind of activities you're involved in so that I can speak to them in my letter. And I also need a minimum of 2 weeks notice to do reference letters. If you are applying to USA or international schools and you're looking for something called a counselor's report, this is different than a reference letter, sorry, just a segue, backtrack there. I'm going to need even more notice because those take quite a bit of time to do, so please give me as much notice as possible and let me know if you're applying to the US. And yeah, give me the reference letter form and then I will happily do a reference. Reference letters are confidential. And what else would I say? Yeah, just that, if you are a student who with a lot of unexcused absences or anything like that, then, I'm not sure. We'll have a conversation about references. Let's not worry about that too much right now. Okay, common grade 12, frequently asked questions. Can I have a study block? Yes, all grade 12s can have a study block. But, okay, this ties into the scholarship. Tupper-based scholarships, you have to be taking 7 courses at Tupper. They can be off timetable, but they have to have 7 courses. So that means you can't have, you know, be a part-time student, basically, or you can't be taking a bunch of your courses online at other schools. But yes, all grade 12s can have a study block. Who's in charge of getting you into post-secondary? Well, you're in charge of it, and your caregivers will hopefully help you with that. And I can offer some, tertiary support in that regard. Happy to. But I also expect that students who are serious about applying to post-secondary are going to seriously be doing some research. And there's lots of opportunities that I'm bringing in that you can take advantage of. Okay. And then just a kind of a final note on, where I expect, for grade 12s, I really want to help empower grade 12s to be independent, to help build capacity so that they can transition to a post-secondary setting and with, a bit of resilience. I know that first-year students often do struggle with their mental health and overwhelm. And so it's really important in the grade 12 year to really support independence, support mental health, and support, learning how to do things on their own. And I say that because I know it's going to be hard for me with my own kids, but, grade 12s, you need to be able to log into MyEd yourself and problem solve it if you can't get in. You go to Tupper Help, you ask for help, and if you can't, then you pop into the office and ask for assistance there. So you need to be able to go onto MyEd, so you need to be able to see what your marks are and where things are at in MyEd, and hopefully show your parents how to get into MyEd so you can see your report cards and you can look up things like your PEN number. I would advise you to check Teams once a week. If you can't get into Teams, again, problem solve it. Why am I not getting into Teams? How do I reset my password? These are all things that are really important, because trust me, when you start applying to post-secondary, you will have some frustrating moments where you forgot your password, or you need to go look at something online, or you need to upload something within a time frame. So I'm just trying to help train you up for that. It's a good idea to get a BCID number if you don't have one already. BCID number you're going to need to access the student transcript service. Don't worry, we'll talk about that in September assembly, but that is the official Ministry of Education service for accessing official transcripts. We also can give you transcripts at Tupper in the office. And we can talk about that, why you would need them. You would really only some scholarships might ask for them, and any post-secondary school is going to need signed, sealed transcripts or official ones. So you'll come talk to me, and we'll talk about the why of those. It's a good idea to have a social insurance number if you don't already. If you've had a part-time job, you do have one. I always say just put this in the phone. Put this in the phone with what's called your personal health number. So you just have it. It's called your PHN. And another number you should have in your phone is your PEN number, your personal education number. And that is on your report card. It's different from your student number, but you need that number again to log in to see your ministry assessment results, to log in to see your official ministry transcripts. You need that PEN number. I really want to encourage students to please send me your own emails yourself. Copy your parents and caregivers. Absolutely. I love that people keep everybody in the loop, but to exercise some independence in reaching out to me. Don't be nervous about coming to talk to me. I try my best to be friendly and welcoming, and I know that we're all learning. So please try emailing me yourself. You want to set up an appointment with me about advising. Usually those are best done by appointments because it can take a little bit of time. Obviously, if you want to talk to me for counseling, you can drop in any time and we can see if there's time there, or we can reschedule, okay? And just a tip, if you're writing an email and I don't know you, or any teacher, it's really good to just say hello, and you might want to introduce yourself and say, hi, my name is Wendy Higginbottom, and I am your student, and I would like to talk to you about this, and state the reason why you would like to talk to me, and then you sign the email with your name. I've had a few emails from students that are sort of written a la text message. Please don't do that. It's, when you get into the world and you want to email your boss or email your professor or somebody, you should try to keep it, professional. So you start with a greeting, body of the email, try to keep it short and to the point, and then sign off on it, okay? Also be aware of what your email address is, and maybe it's time to change it to something that's a bit more professional sounding. Okay. What now? Read the course planner online. Make appointments with me if you want to. If you have questions, send me an email. Come to the course planning night. Come to the drop-in sessions at Fit Time. I'll be available and happy to help. There's my email there. Please note, I really don't check my email outside of work hours because, hey, work-life balance is important. Also just for professional reasons. So that's also why if you email me in the summer, you won't hear from me, until the end of the summer when I come in. So please send me emails and drop by, and I'm very happy to help support you on this journey to your graduation. Thank you.